like a Hellcat.
Six-time champion Jimmie Johnson, the car just hasn't agreed with him. Chacking out, you heard him before the pit stop. What do we need? Big adjustments on the 48 and to his outside. The 18 of Kyle Busch, a poor pit stop, but now he lines up in the outside. No one's better rolling the top than the 18 of Kyle Busch.
And you can bet Kyle Busch will try to make that happen. He's unbelievably good on that outside on restarts.
10 to go. They come into the restart zone. Kyle Larson, the outside. Carl Edwards on the inside. Green flag back in the air. They're blocking. Good go Nevo. Carl Edwards into the wall. He got tagged by the 22. Big hits by the 19. And the caution comes back out again.
That is exactly what we saw Joey Logano was going to try to do. Big fire of the 78. But that is what we thought was going to happen. Obviously, the wreck isn't what we thought. Martin Truex Jr. needs to get out of this race car.
Very aggressive on the restart. The flames rolling out from underneath the hood of the 78. Red flag comes out. Martin Truex Jr. is out of the car. Huge contact for the 19 of Carl Edwards. First it was the inside wall, then he was hit by another car.
A championship's on the line, Rick. The 22 gets a great restart. The 19 blocks. They make contact. Look at the damage on the 19 car. A couple huge impacts.
And we thought that's what was going to happen. The 22, Joey Logano, has been so good on restarts all night. The 22 gets a big run. Carl sees him coming. He goes to block. 22 does not slow up. Stays in the throttle. Big wreck.
And the 22 really ended up getting a lot better out of that situation, because it looked as though Brad Keselowski laid completely off of him, the 22's teammate.
Well, he wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't want anything to do with the accident or the championship battle. But you see the 48's blocking the 2 to the bottom.
And listen, if you're a Carl Edwards fan, you're upset at Joey Logano. If you're a Joey Logano fan, you're upset at Carl Edwards. That right there is Joey Logano being aggressive, making a very, very aggressive move, but he got a good restart. Carl Edwards had no choice but to block. If he doesn't turn left, Joey Logano's next to him entering turn one. He's in the middle of 3 wide. Worst possible scenario for Carl. Carl turns left, trying to block a championship on the line. Joey's there in a big wreck. And I don't blame Carl Edwards.
Not at all.
He had to block. That's what he had to try to do.
But I don't blame Joey Logano, because if he lifts with 10 to go, it's over. He's lost the championship right there. He didn't hit the 19 in the bumper. He was inside the left rear bumper cover of the 19 of Carl Edwards. You see, he's walking it off. It's just the frustration. It's the size of the moment. A championship on the line. We knew restarts were going to be crazy. This one was completely out of control. But what a car that Carl Edwards had tonight. That's got to make the disappointment worth. Remember, 5 years ago, he tied here. He came back trying to win a championship.
It's mandatory that when a driver gets out of the car in the race that they go to the infield care center. Normally, they're taken there by the ambulance, but I believe the communication between the track worker, the safety worker, and Carl was, I'll walk over there. I'm going to walk there.
And remember, the 19 car led 47 laps tonight. That was the best of the 4 cars that were contending for the championship. So now that's why they're disappointed. That's why he was so dejected. Now NASCAR, after this restart, they're going to have to go and figure out where everybody lines up. Remember, there's timing lines around the racetrack that lock them in, but there's also the factor that you have to maintain speed. You have to maintain a certain speed. So right now, NASCAR is looking at those scoring lines, and we'll watch replays to determine where to line everybody up.
Let's listen into the 22. Joey Logano, his radio on what took place.
I got damage on the right front and probably the right rear. Came down right in front of me.
Here, Joey Logano. He came down right in front of me. But Carl Edwards was trying to block. He did not want to give up that position on the restart.
No, he didn't want to give it up. He didn't want to give a championship up. He was put in a position because of Joey Logano's very good restart. Joey did everything right. Carl Edwards doesn't block. He's 3 wide, in the middle, getting into turn 1. His opportunity to win a championship is definitely less in that scenario. So, an aggressive move by Logano, but in my eyes, he did everything he was supposed to do, trying to win a race and win a championship.
I mean, this is what's on the line. 4 drivers, an entire season, a championship. Neither Joey Logano nor Carl Edwards have ever won a championship.
really Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch of the two championship contenders remaining out on the track. Actually, Joey Logano's still out there, but will have a little bit of damage to the car. But those two benefit the most from this because they were able to get through.
What a big impact.
Huge.
To be honest, I've been focused so much on that restart, I didn't realize the degree of that impact.
Let's ride along with Joey Logano.
So you hear Joey Logano. He's to the inside. It gets to a point that the 19's pulled out. He's out of the gas. He's not in the gas turning the 19. He's out of the gas because he's so low. On board here with the 19. I mean, that in real time.
Look at Carl Edwards. Look at Carl Edwards. I mean, listen, he's smiling. He goes up. He's having a conversation with everything on a line.
He shook their hands.
Listen, I don't blame him for being frustrated or being upset because it's a championship, but taking time to go to them and have a conversation, I mean, that would have been difficult for me to do.
And Jeff, let me tell you, I mean, and you can speak to this more than anyone, but how difficult is it to get into this position?
Given that's how we live it, don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed.